So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the shadow side and the wholesome side of expertise, both expertise in our own life and self, and how that relates to also our expertise, how we bring wholesome expertise into our life from our community and from our environment. Um, this has been a really important learning for me personally, especially in the throes of my autoimmune illness that I have mostly recovered from now. But I remember in the deepest and darkest time in that journey, you know, not really being a person who thought of myself as having suicidal tendencies. But I remember the morning that I woke up and thought to myself, if I had a pill right now to take that would end my suffering, I would take it. And I was already getting help at the time, and I just knew I needed more help because that was so scary to hear my own mind thinking that thought. So if you're someone who can relate to this idea, for example, that I need help, but I'm afraid to ask for it for various reasons, whether it be a trauma response or whether it also just be the reality that we live in a world in which there are a lot of shadow sides to this theme of expertise. So let me get a little bit into the differentiation. I'll start with the shadow side, which is really kind of what has become of expertise in the shadow of patriarchy and the post-colonial materialist worldview, right? So in this worldview, there's sort of two responses, and one is a sort of seeing oneself as deficient, or the individual is deficient and needs expertise from some kind of authority, be it religious, be it medical, scientific, whatnot, some system outside of oneself that can give one the validation in order to have the information or just stamp of approval for what one's going through or existing. It's kind of outsourcing, which is very disempowering. Carolyn Mace, who is a teacher that I follow in her energy medicine, intuitive medical intuition classes, talks a lot also about hemorrhaging, how our power can be hemorrhaging from us. Our power being just that chi, that life force, that healthy vitality that we can take ownership of, not in a controlling kind of way, but in a inhabiting kind of way, that then is how our creative life purpose flows through us. So obviously in this form of expertise, that's not happening. We're believing that we need something or someone outside of us in order to do that, to have that. And the opposite, the reaction that happens also within the shadow paradigm of expertise is this sort of rebellious hyper-individualism that we see a lot in our modern culture as well. This, I'm a rock, I'm an island unto myself, I can do it all by myself. Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I can figure it all out by myself, which makes so much sense. It's the healthy, one is like sort of the freeze or even the flight response, and the other is the fight response when we're talking about nervous system. But they're all coming from this unhealthy fight or flight, sympathetic or freeze state in the nervous system. So all of these relationships with expertise can continue to perpetuate chronic stress in the body. So what I want to talk about is an alternative. Instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater and being like, oh, well, I can't trust anybody, how do we step into wholesome expertise, right? First of all, with ourselves, but also within the context of community, because really we are meant to develop in our nervous system within the context of community. Those two things are meant to go together. My development, your development, the community's development. It's only in this weird patriarchal world and exponential growth economy, not based on the healthy cycles of the nervous system and nature, that we come into this problem of self versus community. You have to make choices that might neglect you in order to serve me, or neglect myself in order to serve you. All these tensions, all these power things, they don't actually exist in an interdependent worldview, which is a worldview which many indigenous cultures have practiced naturally over history, and many still do, at least those who have not lost that due to colonialism and cultural oppression. So, in the kinship worldview or the interdependent worldview, there is healthy mentoring and healthy systems in which younger people or people who want to learn things or who are coming into some kind of natural gift are recognized by those who have experience in that gift or talent, and who take them under their wing and support them and help them to flourish and grow, so they're not in an isolated bubble, and so that that thing that's growing inside the individual can be initiated properly, can be become witnessed by the community and by mentors, and then plug in as a gift and service to the community. And so, but it's not something that's coerced. It's not something that's someone's told how or what to do it. It's something that is nurtured forward, like we nurture a plant from the soil and the water and the sun. So this is really the kind of expertise that is not fight or flight in the nervous system. This is the parasympathetic. This is healthy ventral vagal social engagement. When our nervous system is experiencing this kind of expertise, not only are we feeling calm, but we're also feeling we're having a growth of the bandwidth of our nervous system. We are experiencing excitement to grow our complexity and to increase the challenges, because we're excited about what we're learning, and what we're learning is not happening in a vacuum. It is being mirrored back to us and is being drawn forth from us into our community. So this is really something that I have a lot of passion about. It's something I coach people around, whether it's related to getting support for a healing journey, if you're healing from chronic illness, whether it's finding support around other emotional, mental, or relational issues, or just channeling one's creativity, one's creative purpose in life. And, I really share this distinction because it's a really important thing, I think, in discernment. When we are looking for support, it's really important to look for someone who isn't telling us what to do. There's enough out that, whether it's overt or covert, sort of coercive, subtle coercions, which we get a lot of in our cultural and economy the way it is. Like, look for someone who really sees your wholesome nature. Even if you are feeling extremely broken, extremely disconnected from your own center, your own ground, your own sense of compass, your own sense of purpose, someone who has faith that you have that, and who is totally like there to walk with you into the initiation experience of discovering that, of holding you through the challenges that might arise or the blockages that are there that are keeping you from being in touch with that, and who won't overlay their own idea of what that should be onto you, but who's really interested in listening alongside you, how to discover that for yourself so that you can become a leader in your own life. And not only like, again, just to make the point again, not just to be a leader in your own life in the sense of being just a hyper independent individual, but in being really discerning, and actually being open and trusting, because you trust your own intuition, you trust your gut, you trust your knowing. You can walk into the world with discernment and filter out those mentors who are right for you and those who are not. And without judgment, just discernment, and even the ability to go through chapters of your life where maybe it's time to bring in more, or maybe it's time to let go of some and change that, but to know how to listen for that, and to really have a team around you, a healthy social ecosystem around you, because our social ecosystem is just as important as our physical ecosystem of our body, right? Just as it's important that we have healthy tissues and cells and blood flow and, hydration and nutrition and exercise and all these things. We need a healthy social environment, emotional environment, energetic environment. So I wish all these things for you. Um, yeah, if you are interested in some one-on-one coaching, please reach out to me. My website is enteringstream.com. And just a note of, uh, I suppose, inspiration and hope, like, even though this is something that is as cultural of an issue as it is personal and individual, there's a lot that can change when we each reclaim our power to be our own expert and our own leader in our life and to learn to draw the communities to us who are going to be our healthy ecosystem. To quote, what's that movie, Cloud Atlas? Like, instead of being like disgruntled by being one wave in a giant ocean, what good can that do? To sort of turn that around on its head and think, well, what is the ocean but a multitude of drops? So, yeah, here's to empowering you and all of us to step into that world where we can really have the dignity and self respect and self authority and expertise that we each were born with and that we're meant to develop in this life, and to calling in the situations, social ecosystems in our life, they're going to enhance that.